You guys know I love this game. Am I the a-hole? We will be the judge if they are the a-hole or not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling a girl it's absolutely her fault she got pregnant for the 3rd time? Oh, I need more context to this. Please. Before I start, I honestly don't care if people enjoy sex. Can I say that on YouTube? Intercourse? The act of love? There's nothing wrong with it as long as they're using protection, etc. Okay. Like, aren't you a priest? I, 24, female. Oh! Oh my God, this is a girl. I thought this was a man saying this. I, 24, female, know a girl, 19, from class. We definitely are not friends, but she started dumping all of her private info on me the first day. Some of the examples include sleeping around with random guys every weekend, not on any form of birth control, not using protection due to latex allergies, getting pregnant and miscarrying twice, oh that's sad, and not getting medical help afterwards. Her family is well off, so it's not like she can't afford to not go to an OBGYN or get a hormonal birth control. That's not even the worst of the stories she's told me, but they're not relevant to this post. She came into class one day and was upset about something. I didn't even ask what's wrong because I'm done with her oversharing, but of course she started spilling the beans anyways. Turns out she's pregnant and miscarried for the 3rd time. I looked at her dead in the eyes and said, huh? It's like you could have prevented it. We're not friends. Stop telling me these things. She made a shocked face and stopped talking to me. My friends think I'm an a-hole for lacking empathy. Honestly, I'm just done with her oversharing things. Am I the a-hole? Guys, I overreacted. I judged the situation by the title, and I totally thought it was gonna be different. I just feel like from the start, maybe you should have communicated to her very early on that the story she was telling you, if you're not close, like it makes you uncomfortable. The way you worded it would come off in an a-hole type of way, especially if this whole time she's like, well, you've listened to me this whole time, so I'm just gonna keep sharing. But I get it. I get what you're saying. If that was my friend, of course I would be like, girl, like, you gotta prevent that from happening if you are not trying to get pregnant right now. You gotta be an honest friend sometimes, but communication is key. Am I the a-hole for giving my mother's ring to my girlfriend? My mother owned an extremely beautiful ring, and as his oldest child, I inherited the ring when she passed away 5 years ago. I should say that my mother was a horrible person and no one liked her, so the only thing important about the ring is its beauty and price. Okay. My daughter, 19, was always obsessed with this ring. I used the ring to propose to my girlfriend. When my daughter found out about it, she was upset and called me an a-hole for giving the ring to my girlfriend. She then asked if she will ever inherit the ring, and I said that she probably won't because it's my girlfriend's now and she will want to give it to her own child. She and all of my siblings think I'm an a-hole and should have kept the ring for my daughter, but it belonged to me, so I think I get to decide what to do with it. It's a very sticky situation because it is your mother and it is your ring to do whatever you want. I would want it to stay within the family personally. If I had a daughter, I feel like I might ask and be like, is this something that you would want? Yeah, I feel like there is no winning in that situation. What do you guys think? I'm curious to get other people's opinions on that. That's tough. Would I be the a-hole? Wow! Okay, so they're asking us beforehand, before they've done what they are thinking about doing, they're going to ask, would this make me an a-hole? Wow. All right. Would I be the a-hole if my neighbor wants to rip out a fence I just put in for $7,500 so he can put in a less nice fence and a pool? And I said no. I bought a fence around my yard because my neighbor cheaped out and put bushes around his yard with giant gaps for mowers to get through, and we both have dogs. So I had to buy the fence. Now he wants to rip 1/3 of my fence out because he wants a pool and needs a code compliant fence. Would I be the a-hole for saying no? He's trying to avoid paying for a cage around his pool by messing with my fence instead. Then, one side of my fence I just paid $7,500 for wouldn't match the other 2 sides, and I'd be connecting to his fence. No, I feel like that's pretty reasonable to say no. Like I get, there's a lot of like cons there, like things aren't matching, you just put it in and this and that. Like I get it. I get why you would say no. I also get why they would be like, please help us out. I know we're asking a lot. Please be a friendly neighbor. I don't know. I don't think that makes you an a-hole. Maybe I'm the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for picking apart food my girlfriend brings me? Ooh. Now I don't want to judge too fast because the last time, but I don't know about this one. Sometimes my girlfriend or I don't feel like cooking on our respective dinner duty nights, so we order in or pick something up on the way home. When my girlfriend does it, she picks up 2 of the same thing. Sometimes what she brings has stuff I don't eat on it. Pickles, raw onion, pepperoni, refried beans, stuff like that. Okay, that was very specific. She does know I don't eat this stuff, but I don't say anything since she did buy dinner, and I'm grateful for that. I just pick the stuff off. She's made faces over me doing this in the past, and I suggested calling or texting me before she orders something or picks it up so I can tell them what to leave off. She did that like once and then stopped because either I was still at work or not picking up and she was tired and forgot. Today, she wanted to eat an early lunch together and wasn't feeling the leftovers we both packed, so we met up and she got hoagies for us. What's a hoagie? While we were eating, I was picking off the extras while talking to her. She made this annoyed face again and told me to stop pouting and just eat it as she got it. I asked her if I was making faces about it and she said no, but picking stuff off was pretty much the equivalent of pouting and silently complaining. I was always taught it was fine to just take things off food, but this seems to be a real issue for her, so I'm here to ask if I'm in the wrong. I judged too quickly again in my mind. I don't think so. Why would I eat something that I don't like if I can just pick it off? Like, if you're not making a big deal about it and you're like, no, I'm happy to pick off the things I don't enjoy, no problem. No one has to know. Just do, and then I'll eat it happily. I think that's actually the nicest thing to do. Not an a-hole. Am I the a-hole for making my son cook for his sister, even if it means cooking at midnight and waking him up? Blech. What? It's literally 14 days now out of 185 school days. He won't fail school. That's extremely dramatic for 2 weeks of being tired. My daughter, 21, gets off work at 4 a.m. She usually stays up until lunchtime and then sleeps until she goes to work. She works the night shift. My son is 17 and still in high school. I'm at work when she is sleeping, but my son was home for the summer and he would wake her up to make him food. He would pester her until she did it so she could go back to sleep. It came to a head a month ago where my daughter lost it and I finally learned about it. Anyways, long conversation, and as his punishment, he has to make my daughter food when she asks for it at any time, the same amount she did for him. So it was about 30 times he woke her up, so he has to make her 30 meals. Everyone agreed, though my son wasn't happy and picked it over losing his phone for a month. Oh my God. So my daughter will wake him up to make her food. She has 15 meals left. He hates it, but it got the point across. Now school started and he got woken up last night to make her food. So this morning he was tired as hell. He went to his grandparents and I got a huge argument with my mom. She thinks I'm an a-hole, but the punishment fits the crime. My son won't talk to me and I'm questioning myself even though my husband is backing up the punishment. I'm just very confused. 17 years old and 21 and they can't make their own food. I mean, I moved out at 17 and I lived on my own, so I literally provided for myself. But at 17, when they're hungry, they can't put a meal together for themselves. Am I missing something? Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my father financially when I make over 5 times his salary? I, 31 male, has a father, 52 male, who has 2 other children from other women. He always asks me for money because I am a chemical engineer that makes over $250K a year. Woo! Most of the time I do it because his asks are pretty small, but he has never had a vacation with me before. In the last 2 years, he has asked me to pay for his trips to have quality time with his other kids. This year, I asked if I could also tag along, but he said I wouldn't fit in and it would be awkward. This time, the trip costs over $20,000. Where is he going? So I said, if I'm paying for this trip, I'm tagging along. He got very annoyed and said that he had promised a father-son bonding experience for them. I asked him why he promised to do something he couldn't afford, and he said, because I know you'll pay for it. I asked him why we never had father-son bond time, and he shouted, are you gonna do it or not? I told him no. Now all of my family is saying that just because I was denied something, that doesn't mean I should deny it to other people, but maybe he shouldn't have promised something he'd do when he couldn't afford it. I don't know, a lot of people are telling me that I am the a-hole. What do you think? What? Am I just on a different vibe today? None of these people seem like a-holes to me. The fact that your father expects it and doesn't let you go is crazy to me. Nuts. That's wild. That is your hard-earned money. You can spend it however you want. and you've been so generous to provide and give him trips in the past. I'll be damned if I hand you $20,000 no matter what I make, and I say, hey, I'm gonna pay, but I'm gonna tag along, and they go, no. Then no trip. Y'all, am I tripping? I've never been on their side in these stories ever. Like, this is crazy. Am I the a-hole for leaving my half-sister out of our dad's obituary? Ugh. I'm sorry. I, 22 male, have a half-sister, Kelsey, 23 female. Kelsey's mom and my dad had an affair way back when, before I was born. He stayed married to my mom, who died in 2020, and after me, they had my siblings, who are 19, 16, and 14. While she was never really part of the family, probably for obvious reasons, Kelsey and my dad stayed in touch, but they had a rocky relationship. Kelsey lives in the next state over, but he would try to stay involved in her life. He took her to dinners on some of her birthdays, attended graduations and school events, sometimes, not always, and supported her financially, even sending her money in adulthood. That said, she's always resented him and will go back and forth between liking him and including him in her life, to hating him and making a big deal of it publicly via social media. I'll be honest, none of his kids have ever had a particularly close relationship with him. He wasn't a terrible guy, just not always a great father figure, if that makes sense. I never had any hard feelings towards Kelsey for being angry with him, and sometimes even understood her frustrations. Kelsey hadn't spoken to him in a year or so. Last I saw her on social media, and from him telling me, she wanted nothing to do with him. He died suddenly recently. I called Kelsey to let her know. She said okay and asked if there was something she was supposed to do, to which I told her no. She said, thanks for calling, and hung up. I wrote the obituary. It was written a bit hastily, as I had other things to do, and was very basic. I did not include her in the survived by portion. Kelsey didn't come to the funeral. Her mom sent flowers addressed from both of them. However, Kelsey called me fuming that she was not included in the obituary. She called me every name in the book on the phone, via text and social media posts. I told her I thought she didn't want anything to do with him. Her response was this was different. Her mother is also angry with me about it. Am I the a-hole? They didn't go to the funeral? Oh God, I don't even want to give an opinion on this because it's so there's so much detail with all the relationships, I'm sure, that we obviously don't know. And it's such a sensitive subject. I'm surprised that they would be like, why wasn't I in the obituary? But they didn't go to the funeral. Like, that part kind of sticks out to me. And then another part of me is just like, I'm trying to put myself in that because I have step siblings and I have half siblings and stuff. Very different relationships. But I guess I try to see it as, what would your father like? You know what I mean? Like, I think I would try to see it from, would my father want her to be included in that, you know, even with the ups and downs. I've had ups and downs with people in my life, but like, I would think about it that way. I think, what would they want? So that's hard. Am I the a-hole for not specifically stating I will not serve alcohol at my house? So I, 22 female, moved out. I wanted to invite my family over to dinner, but because it's further away, a 1-hour drive, which is a lot where I live, and they complained about getting home late, then I changed it to brunch lunch and to show my new place. I invited 7 people, family members, and made sure I had plenty of options: coffee, tea, juices, smoothies, several types of eggs, bacon, sausages, salmon, French toast, waffles, fresh fruit. So yummy. I want to be invited. My family knows I can't drink alcohol, but my brother got annoyed that there weren't any mimosas or Bloody Marys or things like that. My mom agreed, not in a rude way, but said that if I let her know I didn't have any alcohol, she would have brought some. I didn't because A, they know I can't have any and don't buy it, and B, we met at 1 p.m. Most people I know don't drink by then, and C, they were driving. My brother later told me if he'd known there wasn't alcohol, he wouldn't have come all that way, and that I'm a biatch for not communicating it. Some of my friends agree that it's rude not to let guests know, but most think he's the a-hole. I think so too, but I am biased. You are not an a-hole. What? I give up. Humanity makes no sense to me. It's rude. I'm a biatch because I didn't tell you I'm not serving alcohol. You base on coming to see my new house on if I have alcohol or not, then I probably don't want you there anyways. Bye. On that note, I'm gonna get out of here. Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and I'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST. Be there or be square.